want you to know what it feels like to keep all of this pain so concealed. Like I want out of this plane, I told my psych, you don't need to, you don't need to. I'm losing patience, living in damnation. I'm dark vibrations, singing incantations. It must sound like I'm mad, I'm never found to be glad. I'm working out of the math, the answer's always been sad, yeah. I'm a zero summation, lost in translation. Here's my resignation, from this life I'm not staying. My whole life's a passing fad. You'll remember the times we had, the times we had, yeah. All these pleasures my brain can't have, I want out, so please don't be sad. Give it up, cause I'm getting out. Don't be sad, you could let it out. All the shit I'm forgetting now. My whole life I've been checking out. All I said, you could send it out. Light it up, now I'm headed out. This is the end of my part now. We will be never apart, no. I'm losing patience, living in damnation. I'm dark vibrations, singing incantations. It must sound like I'm mad, I'm never found to be glad. I'm working out of the math, the answer's always been sad, yeah. Don't leave, I need you with me. Don't die, I need you alive. Don't go, don't leave me alone. You said, yeah. My entire life feels like one big mistake, and all these pills inhibit re-uptake. I can't arrive at any reason to wait. Take it one at a time, only take it one night at a time. And I don't care, cause I don't give a take. From this world so superficial and fake, in all your joys I simply cannot relate. Take it one at a time, only take it one night at a time. I say goodbye, it's getting late now. Please don't cry, you'll know I made it out. Say goodbye before I fade out, before I fade out, before I fade out. I'm losing patience, living in damnation. I'm dark vibrations, singing incantations. It must sound like I'm mad, I'm never found to be glad. I'm working out of the math, the answer's always been sad, yeah. I'm a zero summation, lost in translation. Here's my resignation, from this life I'm not staying. My whole life's a passing fad. You'll remember the times we had, times we had, yeah. Let it out, all the shit I'm forgetting now. My whole life I've been checking out. All I said, you can send it out. Light it up, now I'm headed out.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the zoo. I'm the Rusty Panda, and I am here for you. Today, we've got RottenSilverFins up in the house. There's so many times that I've wanted to say Sliverfins, and I don't know why. I don't know why. It's like slimy, slithery. I don't know. I just wanted to say sliver, but it's obviously silver. Is that a first?
That's a first for me.
A sliver of a fin? I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Go for it.
Well, welcome to the show, everybody. This is Wiki Wednesday, the show where we ask the streamer 15 things they like, 5 things they don't. We go down the Wikipedia rabbit hole talking about things the streamer knows, things the streamer doesn't know, things that I don't know, and we learn a bit about ourselves in the process. So to start, I usually start with like what's on the screen, but I have to know where your username came from.
Okay. Well, I had an Xbox when I was young. I had Xbox 360 and got Xbox Live, and I just needed a username. And my older brother, he's 13 years older than me. He was like, "You have to have a cool internet name that people will recognize you by." So I thought Silverfin was really cool. I don't know how I came up with that, but I just thought Silverfin was cool. And then, but it was taken on Xbox Live. So I guess this version of Xbox Live, whenever you made an account, it gave you suggestions for that name.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like 3 options with a bunch of numbers behind it. And then the last one was Rotten Silverfin. And I'm like, that's unique. That's good. So I took it, and Xbox Live named me.
Yeah, I remember those. I initially when I was doing Mixer, I was trying to do a name and the Rusty Panda was already taken, and they're like, "Do you want to add an A to the end of your name? You want to put some XXs around it?" And I'm like, "No numbers, no hyphens, no underscores. Yeah, we'll add the other A. We'll add the other A. It's
Yeah,
fine."
it's rough trying to find a name on the internet.
My old one was very simple, like not simple to read at all. It confused a lot of streamers, and that's why I changed it. But nobody had it because it was that unique, and
Hmm.
it was Tehi Teji, which is a long story, but basically it's about a witch who turns into a bat. There's a lot more to it, but nobody could say it. They were like Tehi
Tehi
Tegi
Teji.
Teji Tehi. I'm like, oh my god, I need to change this right now.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got a pretty stellar list here. There's an ad about to start, guys. If you don't have Prime, not Prime. If you don't have Turbo, or you're not
Because Amazon Prime.
subscribed, yeah, you're gonna go ahead and get some ads for 30 seconds. We'll still be here. So we're gonna start with Southern United States, the American South. I'm definitely interested on why this topic was something that was specifically when I said something that represents you or something that you feel the closest to, and that this is what you chose. So tell me why this is up there and what it means to you.
Well, I think for a while the idea of the American South was something negative in my life, and I'm from Georgia. I've been here, lived here my whole life, um, and I don't know. I mean, you kind of you probably get it right. Like, there's a lot of bad things that have happened in the South over history, things that are still happening, and it generally has a negative connotation. It's hot. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a lot here that, but I mean, there's a lot here that is questionable. So and also, I think we talked about this some last week with Sam about accents,
Mm-hmm.
and I worked to get rid of my Southern accent and starting in middle school because I kind of knew I wanted to do something in media for work, and so I don't really have much of a Southern. I have bits of a Southern accent, but I don't have a lot of it. So I kind of had this negative thought about the South, but with time and my own processing and using the internet and meeting other people that live in, I guess, more like better places in the South, people that live. I mean, you can't, you can't. It's hard to stay mad at a whole place your whole life. Not good.
You could try, but it's really hard. Yeah.
Learn how to love it. Um, and it's there's a really good group. You may have heard of the Bitter Southerner. It's primarily a magazine that's published, I think, monthly, but they they publish stories about the South. So it's music, it's food, it's culture, it's all of that kind of stuff. But it's very like what's the word I'm looking for? It's very good, I guess, and it's people know, like, it's self-aware in a lot of ways, um, and that's kind of like their whole thing is, um, believe in a better South.
Okay.
Like, and how can we be better in the future? And so it's things like that that's made me, I don't know, just kind of grow to love it more. I mean, it's where I'm from. It's my culture. It's my family is all Southern. Most of my family's from Appalachia and Tennessee. I mean, that's just what I know, and I want to find a way to still be that and represent that, but in a positive, good way that's better than what people would expect.
Right.
I mean, I think people, at least internationally, even might say things like, "Oh, you're from the South? Is that where, like, cousins kiss?" And it's
Yeah.
like, no, no. I mean, I am from there,
Right.
but
Yeah. Can confirm cousins don't kiss here. Yeah.
but that's generally a way that people see the South. So
Yeah, I definitely think it's interesting when you get off the coasts, Los Angeles, the New Yorks, even the Miamis. Miami's considered south, but like is it like southern south? Like it's kind of
right.
outside of what I would consider the south. Um but they've got their own cultures. Burbsta, hello.
Oh,
Um but it's when you move off the coasts, it's different. Like being from New Jersey, knowing what I read about the South and history and all that other stuff, and then I moved to Missouri, I'm like, whoa, this is a
yeah,
totally different place than what I learned about. This is a totally different everything was a misconception. Like, it's crazy. So I think that did you get a haircut? Is that new?
I I I saw that comment. I don't know. I got a haircut like a month ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. So
Way to be current,
Sam's seen
Slurble.
me without it. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. I'd have new glasses. Maybe that's what. Today's the first day of the new glasses.
Ooh. Yeah, I need to update my glasses. Not the frames because I love the frames, but like even right now things are just a little blurrier than I'd like them to be. But yeah, so I like how you said what recreating the South in a good way.
Yeah, like take it. Take parts that like Thanksgiving dinner with your grandmother. I mean, that looks different for everybody
Mm-hmm.
in the U.S., but I think in the South it's like we go outside and we're making ice cream, we're playing in the dirt or things like that, and those are all good things that I have as part of my childhood.
Yeah.
Um, going up to the creek. You know,
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, and I mean what I've learned about the South, what I learned, not what I know. What I learned about the South when I was in Jersey was that we were much smarter, right? Not that the
yeah,
South was dumb, but that we were elite compared
yeah,
to the South. I don't know if that's like, hey, we won the war, we're smart. I don't freaking know why that was even taught that way. But I was like, these are like scholars are coming out of Atlanta. Scholars are, athletes and all these people are coming out of the South. Why would you possibly say because of the Harvards up there? Is that why, Princeton, all of that stuff? I think it's I think it's dumb, and I'm glad that you're rebranding it
yes. Just
because
me. It's all me.
no, I mean I'm
I'm just
glad
playing.
that you're a part of the rebranding because it
Yeah.
needs to happen.
Yes. There are also. I mean, I'm from a place that's a little more rural. It's not. I'm not from South Georgia, but I'm from south of Atlanta. So when I was growing up, it was the place I was raised in was far more rural than it is now. Atlanta's kind of expanded um, in a big way, especially south and north. But I mean, there are generally speaking two different cultures, at least in Georgia, like predominant cultures. Like there's more of like an African American culture in like Atlanta, and then you go far south and you have more of a white culture, and those unfortunately butt up against each other a lot.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was raised in a family that was a part of the Confederacy at some point.
Mm,
Like probably had slaves.
yeah.
Um, I mean, this is in my history, and it's like there's still pieces of that in some members of my family that come out, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Um, and it's like, what do I do with that? How do I fight that? Like I don't. There's not really. I really haven't come to a good answer about it. I just do what I can,
Right.
and but I think it's a part of a. I think it's a part of a probably literally dying culture of like that sort of mindset. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's becoming more progressive in some instances.
I agree. Yeah, in some instances, I
Yeah.
think that we're fighting a war right now to make sure that we don't go back to the way we were. And I think that you're right. We're progressing in a positive manner, at least from where we can see. But it's still prevalent and it still sucks.
Yeah.
So tell me about more of like, was Atlanta the city to you? Like New York City was the city. Like if I said I'm going up, I'm going to the city. If was that Atlanta for you?
Oh yeah.
So tell me more about Atlanta.
I went to Atlanta a lot as a kid. We would actually, I remember when I was growing up, I worked at a restaurant, and we would go to there's like a cookie place that's open late, Insomnia Cookies in Atlanta, but it's like right on Georgia Tech's campus.
Oh,
Um, so we would get off work at like 11 or 11:30. We would literally drive to Atlanta because this place is open until like 3 a.m.
wow.
And we woke up. I mean, we were in the night shift. We were waking up at noon or 1 o'clock. Um, so we still had energy somewhat. So we'd go to get cookies. I mean, just that kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
But there, it wasn't that we weren't that far. Only about 45 minutes away. So we
Nice.
could go to Atlanta pretty easily.
Did you have public transportation or was it you said you're in rural areas, so probably not.
I was in an area that is now considered Metro Atlanta,
Okay.
but wasn't when I was growing up.
Okay.
And there was no there. There's a service called MARTA.
Okay.
It's like a train and bus service that goes throughout Atlanta, MARTA, and that goes as far as the airport, which is still quite a ways north. So, but I mean, that is what public transport is in Atlanta. It's MARTA.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's decent. It's not bad. I mean, it gets you to all the major places. But if you want to go somewhere a little bit farther south than the airport,
Right.
I mean, also that ring that goes around the city, you can see that. That's an expressway. That's called the perimeter.
Okay.
And then there's a whole culture if you live in the perimeter or outside of the perimeter as well.
Ooh, okay.
Which I'm not that privy to. I have not lived in Atlanta really. So, but there's
Right.
that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that there is public transportation or that they have it. I'm curious. Now, I've been to the airport before.
Mhm.
I've been in Atlanta for a study I did. I was there for literally 24 hours. And it was nice from what I saw, but we weren't far from the airport. So we were probably by College Park and that area. And it was nice. It was really, really pretty. Um, y'all got some really nice vegetation.
Okay.
So, like, you're not quite palm trees, but you're still, like, green. Like,
Yeah.
there's still greenery. You know what I'm
I
saying?
mean, we have tons of kudzu. So
I don't know what that is.
that's an invasive. I guess it's not. I don't know if it's invasive anymore. I think it is technically.
Kudzu?
But yeah, with a K.
Okay.
KUDZU.
Oh,
Yeah, there it is. Literally says
okay.
plant invasion. We have that all over the place.
Wow. Yeah, kudzu smothering trees in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
I see. I've grown up. I mean, you can look at part of a forest and see that, and like in context, I'm like, wow, that's wild that exists. But growing up, and if I don't think about it, I mean, it's like just there. That's it.
That's nuts.
Yes, Sam and Burbs know.
They have seed pods?
I've never been up close. It's kind of scary. I don't know what's inside, so I don't get close to it.
Yeah, there's a fort. This is a fort and eating honeysuckles. Yeah, I ate a lot of honeysuckles back then. Just pop off the edge, slurp, pull out the strings.
Yeah.
What a weirdo I was.
I had some of those too.
Yeah, I mean, we had a whole bush, like super invasive, and we were just like sitting there sucking honeysuckles like we were the coolest kids in the block.
We had blackberries too.
Wow. See, I
Just
never had a berry
wild, I
tree or
guess.
anything. Did you eat them
Yeah,
off the thing?
pretty much. I mean, Yes, but my mom was like, "Okay, no, take them in and wash them." But yeah, we ate
Okay.
them.
Hen basket.
Yeah.
Got it.
So I mean, it's it's invasive, but I mean, it's to me, it's a part of the South now. I really don't know how long it's been here. I mean, I guess a good question is,
Oh yeah.
how long is it called invasive for?
Let's
Because
see.
if it's been here for 30+ years, is it still invasive? I guess technically speaking, it is, but I don't know.
Let's see. Hold on. This is a famous weed where it can be found in 32 states, along roadsides. Kudzu was introduced from Japan to the United States at the Japanese Pavilion in 1876 Centennial Exposition in Philadelphia. It was shown at the Chicago World's Fair. It remained a garden plant at the Dust Bowl era when the vine was marketed in a way farmers could stop soil erosion. The new Soil
Oh,
Conservation Service grew 70 million kudzu seedlings and paid $8 an acre, equivalent to $174 in 2023, to anyone who would sow the vine. Wow.
yeah. There's, I guess, some cows eating kudzu.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Wow. The more you know. So, okay, so you're talking about you know, living in Atlanta. What's something that you find super unique to Atlanta that you might not find anywhere else? If it's the food, if it's the certain uh, entertainment, like what do you think is different about Atlanta than other places?
Oh, I mean, I haven't been to a lot of other places in the South, like major. I haven't been to Texas or Mississippi or Louisiana. I've been to Alabama just for trips, but
Right.
it's hard to say. But the heat, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know in Southern California they've got some bad heat too. Heat's bad. I mean, yeah. Sam says Outcast. I mean, there's a lot of. This is a big area for rap
Okay.
and trap music, which I don't know a lot about. I can't really speak to,
Okay.
um, but that's big here. I think that's special. Um,
Hey, Macaroni and Brie, welcome on in. Um, it's about 1,000,000 degrees out here in Southern California. Hey, it was 101 degrees on Monday where I went to an outdoor concert. I don't want to hear it.
yeah, it's
I
hot
don't want to
everywhere. I
hear
guess.
it. It's hot everywhere, and it sucks, especially when you have to be outside for 4 hours.
Yeah,
Um.
crickets. I think
Oh
you can
yeah.
hear it's pretty often, or well, cicadas. We have cicadas now for this summer.
Did you get the big influx of cicadas?
I didn't see him, but my fiance's parents, they live in Macon, Georgia, which is kind of the smack dab middle of Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
They got them all over their yard, like all over their house,
Wow.
all over their yard. Like basically, they just smashed into the wall. And just hung out there for a while.
Wow. Yeah, I
It was a
heard it was
mess.
bad. I heard it was real bad, this influx of cicadas. And yet, Kansas City is unfazed. I think I saw one cicada yesterday.
Yeah,
It's a miracle. It's a very Christmas miracle that they are not here.
we we also have. I don't know how common they are in other states, but we have Joro spiders. Have
Okay.
you
All
heard of
right.
those?
Juro, Juro.
Joro spiders.
Okay, if you're afraid of spiders, look away. There's a picture.
Yes.
Just FYI. I'm telling you right now. All right, go ahead.
Now, these are newly invasive as of the past couple of years,
Okay.
um, that I've noticed, and I it's no secret. I live in Athens, which is just east of Atlanta.
Okay.
Um,
Athens,
and,
Georgia.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and it's I mean, these spiders are everywhere. I
Wow.
mean, literally, I'm walking to my unit, and they've made a web I've gone to the grocery store. There's no web. I come back. There's a web,
Wow.
and the webs are like not typical spider webs that are just flat. They are like 3-dimensional, and there's typically 3 or 4 of them living in a web at one time. Like there they are. Yeah, that's it.
Wow.
So you can look up. We have 2 trees in my parking lot that are pretty close, but cars go between them for the road,
Right.
and you can look up and just see like like a million webs.
Wow. That's
It's
disgusting.
scary, and you're just like standing under them.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, wow. You're in a lot
We're
of invasive stuff, huh?
yeah, we're our own Australia now.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have scary creatures,
Wow, look at this one. That's a great shot.
and they're not largely in Atlanta. I have just friends that live there. I guess maybe they haven't gotten to some places in Atlanta, but um, they're pretty resilient. Like they can withstand a lot. I think that's why they're doing so well. They're just everywhere, starting in the summer until the winter. They're all over the place.
Been spreading across North America since 2010s. It is venomous, but rarely bites humans, and its venom is not deadly. Wow.
I have walked into several, gotten them on my head, terrified, dropped whatever I was holding, and like batted them off of me because you can't see them. I mean, you're walking in the dark, even if you've got a flashlight. Like I'm literally having to do this in
Oh,
front of me as I
wow.
walk to break any webs up.
Wow.
That's something we got.
Yeah, for sure. There you go. Something you got. I asked the question, man. I got an answer. Um, there's a song that I sing, one of the songs, and it's called Birmingham.
Mhm.
And one of the lines is Athens, Georgia on a Friday night, saw the little girl, she could sing all right. But as soon as you said Athens, Georgia, I was like, I know where that is. I've heard of that place because of
Yeah.
music. um, cool. 38th most populous city in the United States. I'm surprised that it's 38th. I feel like it would be higher, but making it the
And it,
6th largest U.S. metropolitan area. There we go.
yeah. And Georgia's pretty compared to some of this, New England states. It's pretty big, and um, if you live near, if you live in South Georgia,
Mm-hmm.
or if you live in the eastern side of Georgia, like maybe towards the coast, the city to you is like Savannah,
Okay.
or if you're in the South, it's like Valdosta maybe,
Okay.
um, because Atlanta's so far away that it's like basically it might as well be another state. It's like 5 hours to get down to South Georgia.
Oh, wow.
So yeah,
Yeah, is
it's
that
quite
what
a
it
drive.
is? Side to side, it's 5 hours, or
Um, if you went from like Savannah, which is the most eastern point, I think, to, I mean, the west side is flat. It would probably take you 5 or 6 hours.
okay.
I guess if someone wants to check me on that, you
Yeah,
can.
no, I'm trying to get a freaking map of the whole thing, and it is just not giving it to me. I should just look up map, but
Let's see, Columbus, Georgia to Savannah. 4 hours and 8 minutes of a drive.
that's about the side to side for Missouri is about 4.5 hours. But top to bottom is like 8 to 10.
Yeah. Oh yeah, top to bottom. That's good. Let's see, Ringgold to, I don't know, Thomasville. It's like 5.5 hours.
Okay. Yeah,
It's not that bad.
not bad
I
at
guess.
all. Okay. So we've talked about Atlanta. So,
Yeah.
let's talk about Mr. Rogers. I love that he's on your list right now, and I really would like to know more about why he's on your list.
He's a just someone I look up to. He's an icon in that way. I think I started to work with kids a lot after college. I directed a summer camp, and I looked at Mr. Rogers for how to talk to kids and
Mm.
work with them. Um, when I was sad in high school, I would go watch old Mr. Rogers episodes from when I was a kid,
Yeah.
and before then, of course.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's he's just a good man on TV. Like there's a lot of documentaries out right now. There's one that came out of maybe 5 or 6 years ago, maybe longer than that
With
now.
Tom
Came out on
Hanks.
Hulu. That was good. That was a movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the Tom Hanks one I thought was great.
Yeah, there's a documentary called I think it's "Won't You Be My Neighbor," but it came out on Hulu, and that one was it's called A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
What is it called?
Wait, no, it's not. Hold on. Yeah, it's "Won't You Be My Neighbor." Yeah, that's it. That was a really good documentary. If anyone's interested in learning more about him, but um, I mean, he's a human. Like he has his errors and everything, but I just think he's a really good person to look up to in scary times. He had
Yeah.
something to say good on a lot of things.
Interesting. And it's amazing to me how 1928.
Oh, is that when he was born?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. He was progressive for
He
his
was
time.
very progressive for his time. And I like that his middle name is McFeely.
Yeah.
All he talks
That
about
was
is feelings, and his middle name is McFeely.
yeah.
It was meant to be.
It was a good way. Like he taught kids how to process emotions and feelings, and
Mm-hmm.
I I mean I'm not I don't have kids. I'm not in that sphere, but I think there's not a lot of people who can do it as well as he did.
Yeah, for sure. Um, wasn't there a Mr. McFeely? It was McFeely. Yeah, that was from Boy Meets World, right? McFeeny.
Yeah, or Feeney. His name is just
Feeny.
Feeney.
Yeah. I don't know about Mr. McFeely. I don't know who that is.
Mr. McFeely is in he's in the show. He's the mailman, I think.
There you go.
Yeah, there he is. A real guy.
Yeah.
Just named after his middle name.
That's funny. I didn't even think about that. That's funny.
Yeah, he's still alive, I guess.
Yeah, he's still kicking. 1938. Wow.
Speedy delivery.
Interesting.
Yeah. Um
Were you like watching it as a kid? Like, did your parents put it on, or was that like a thing that you just found, or was
Parents
it
put it
later in
on.
life? Okay.
And I grew up. I didn't have cable growing up. I had just like basic TV,
Mm-hmm.
so like satellite. So PBS was what we had to watch for kids programs. And when 6 o'clock or whatever, when the news came on PBS, then cartoons were done. So,
Right.
but yeah, Mr. Rogers came on and reruns came on. And I caught the end of his career basically. So,
Right.
um,
Yeah, 2003. So I was still watching him as a kid.
yeah.
Yeah, I was. Um, yeah. Okay, so let's go to improv comedy.
Boy, howdy.
I love that this is on here. I live for improv. So tell me about it. Are you an improv group? Are you an improvist?
I'm an improviser.
Yay! Oh, that's so good. Yay!
Yes. Uh, yeah, I do. I even do a little bit of it in my Twitch streams. I'll be in character every now and then and do something silly. But I started in high school, so I did voices in middle school, and then going into high school, I did like a lot of character voices, and I tried to learn different accents. And so like this was also part of me getting rid of my southern accent. I started with a transatlantic accent, so I started from here. I wanted to talk more like this,
Right.
which ended up being closer to my current speaking voice than Southern is, which is interesting. Um, but going on from there, I had friends that were telling me, "Man, you should really try out for the one acts." Like we had one act competition in high school,
Mm-hmm.
and I was so nervous to do that. But I went up there, and I have this character, Professor Sanford. Hello, my name's Professor Wilbur Sanford. And I had this character that I put on, and I dressed up for the audition. Like I had this long trench coat and a cane and like my grandfather's pipe that I cleaned out really well because I was
Yes.
nervous about tobacco smell in
Right.
it. And yeah, I just went up there and I did my thing because it was there were probably like 50 students, maybe 60 students. We had a big high school that were trying out for those shows. So I just went up there and did my thing, and um, yeah, I got in 4 shows. The first time I ever did it.
Yes.
Um, it was like 12 shows over 3 nights, so they were all short, but
Right.
it was great, and that was like my first foray into acting. And then not long after that, um, some friends and myself started like a little after school improv thing. It was unofficial, but we
Right.
just got together because the theater room was open on some days, and we would go in there and just do improv on stage.
Yes.
It was like 6 of us, so we would swap out pretty often.
Right.
And then I got into college, and I joined an improv group in college. So I did that pretty much all throughout college. We performed at a bar downtown. It was like a it was like a bigger bar. They had a stage and stuff.
Oh my God.
So we did that like about once a month. Super fun.
Yeah.
I love improv. Yeah.
Improv is my first love, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, and I mean, it's funny because for dinner we watch Whose Lines It Anyway. I have all of the definitely legally downloaded Whose Lines It Anyways from
Sure.
like the past, and we usually watch one a night. And I just get because I've seen every episode at least 3 times, but he hasn't, my husband. So it's fun to like watch it through his eyes as far as like I know what's gonna happen next. I know why they're doing what they're doing. I know the method to the improv. Like I'm like, look, first of all, they're all wearing different colored shirts. That's to show that they're each individual actors and it's easier to follow. Secondly, they're doing, I have one singer or two singers. And if, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's all
Right.
methodical. And he's like, just let me enjoy the show.
I do the same thing with my fiance. I'm like, I like pause the movie. It's like, well, let me give you a fact about this thing happening. And she's like, okay, can we just watch it?
Right. Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
I say this every stream, and I feel like it's a brag, and it's not. It's just true. I grew up in I went to a performing arts high school. So there were 20 of us in my class that went through all 4 years together.
Wow.
And, you know, improv was the one thing that I was good at because I didn't know at the time, my very rampant ADHD made it very hard for me to focus and do lines. I couldn't memorize lines in an acting school. It was traumatic.
Yeah.
And so when improv came, I was like, bang, bang, boom, I got this. But no, not acting. I was
No,
never
I,
the best
I
at
was the same
acting.
way with scripts. It's always been a struggle for me to just, if I can sit down and do it, then I could maybe learn the script. But
Hmm.
it's the sitting down and actually staring at those pages that's hard for me.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
hear you.
And so that's when you turn to improv and you're like, look, I can think on my feet. I can sing. Did you ever do the singing?
We did musical improv. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was the end of college. We realized that we could do it. I don't know.
Yes.
I don't like we just hadn't heard about it before. I don't know, but yeah, my group started to do musical improv, and so one of the guy in charge really he could play piano, so he basically would just set his keyboard up and he would start something, and we would just start going there. Step out of a line, pick somebody, um, go up. You can do that kind of thing every now and then. Like it's improv.
Right.
There's not really an illusion here. Like everyone's
Right.
laughing.
Right.
Um,
Oh, that's
And
great.
yeah, we would always, the key to that I learned to musical improv was creating a chorus first. And so that should be one of the first things that you do. And so everyone's on the same page. And you can always go back to that chorus. And then the pianist knows, okay, that's what I'm going to be playing into every other thing that I play.
Right.
And it makes it cohesive, and it makes everyone go, wow, you guys are amazing. And it makes us go, wow, we're amazing.
Right. All because of the method. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The improv is improv, but there's a method to the improv.
Yeah.
That just made me so happy to talk about. Oh my gosh.
Good.
Oh man, yes. I am gonna have to stalk your channel now and see when you do some
I have some clips. You can check them out.
I'm going
I'll
to.
send you some.
Yeah, please do. I'm definitely gonna check them out.
We have a really good improv group in Atlanta called Dad's Garage.
Let's see if it's
They might be on Wikipedia.
Dad's Garage. Oh, I could spell it right. Dad's Garage. Yeah, theater company.
Yeah.
Founded in 1995.
They're awesome. They do a lot of different stuff. If you check their website, they're doing something like every night. So
wow,
they're pretty good. Let's see. Oh yeah, Colin Mockery from Who's Line.
Colin Mockery, yeah.
Mockery, yeah. He's there sometimes as well doing stuff.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so
I don't know if he lives in Atlanta or not, but
no,
he's there sometimes.
He's a Canadian, but I know everything about him because I love him. I love Whose Line Is It Anyway? It's really a place in my heart. But he's Canadian, and I've seen him and Brad. Did you watch Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Not much of it. Okay. Surprisingly.
So I saw him and Brad Sherwood, who were two of them, and they did one of the best improvs I've ever seen, where they set up the stage filled with active mousetraps, and you had to try to hide from the person while the other person is blindfolded, and you had to try not to step on these mousetraps. And so like you would have to ask them a random question, like an audience member would ask a question, and you would have to try to answer it but not get caught by the guy who's blindfolded, and all the meanwhile they're going because they're stepping on mousetraps. Wow. And then the other one is Whose Live Is It Anyway? So the rest of the cast I've also seen, and it's like dream come true. But that's crazy that you haven't watched that.
I know.
You need to go back and start watching. I think you'll really enjoy it.
Yeah, it was very organic the way that improv happened for me. Like I didn't look at a lot of stuff. I guess I'm naturally funny. I don't know.
See,
I'm
there you
not
go.
trying to brag at all, but I guess I am. But I mean, we just didn't do that. I remember I have a little story.
Yeah, please.
From college. So in high school when I did improv, I was our group was very close to each other. Like we knew each other pretty well. Mm-hmm. A couple of those people I'm still really close friends with. And so we would take it a step further and do like a lot of like body improv comedy. And so we would like grab each other and pick each other up and stuff like that. And it was fun with us. And we would also like make a lot of sexual innuendo.
Of course.
Or like we would curse a lot, and sometimes that's funny in certain contexts. But in my college improv group, they were kind of more like, ooh, we don't really want to curse. We kind of want to be family friendly. Or we don't want to make any sexual jokes. So we generally didn't, even though I really wanted to.
Yeah.
And I did sneak some in sometimes. But I remember we had this gig that it was the only time this ever happened. Someone hired us for their birthday party. I guess they just looked up improv groups in the area and found us. And it was all adults who were in their 40s and 50s. And so we were, like, all right, this is nerve wracking.
Right.
We didn't really know what they wanted because the person who was talking to them wasn't that communicative with the rest of the group going to do it. So we kind of were going in blind. And we got halfway through that show, and we thought it was going pretty well. And the wife of the guy whose birthday it was, she came up to the stage and was like, "Hey, could you guys do like some more sex jokes, like blatant sex jokes, like
Right.
really, really edgy ones?" And I was like, "Ooh, yeah, sure."
Done.
And done. Like I'll do that. But like some other people in our group was like, I guess so, sure. And so the second half of that show was wild. It was the wildest one we ever did.
Yes.
It was so much fun. Yeah, it was a good time.
That's great. That's
Yeah,
great. What an experience. That's awesome.
it's a
Um,
fond memory.
that's so cool. That makes me so happy. Yes. Okay, we're gonna switch over a little bit to some video games.
Sure.
So tell me what you like about Paradox games.
Uh, Paradox Games is generally they make strategy, real-time strategy games.
Mm-hmm.
Um, some of my favorites are Hearts of Iron, which is a Hearts of Iron 4. It's a uh, World War II strategy game. It seems like the company, what they do is they have made like 5 different eras. They've made like 5 different games that cover different eras throughout history.
Okay.
And they do different things with those times. So the first one in their series, because you could literally play them all back to back, and I think the saves transfer over. So the first one is like it's called Crusader Kings, and you control a dynasty. Crusader Kings 3 is the latest one. But you control a dynasty, and you control one ruler at a time. You're making decisions for that dynasty, and if all your heirs die or whatever, then you're game over. But you're kind of making decisions for a kingdom, and you're taking over, and it's not just running crusades like the name suggests. It's whatever. It's you could play as like a Far Eastern Asian country. Like there's some Chinese like territorial expansions as well.
Interesting.
So I mean, it's just this era that goes from like 800 BC to I think it's like 1450 something.
1452.
I think it's constant. Yeah, right. Fall of Constantinople.
Mm-hmm.
So
So it sounds like you like history.
I do. Yes, I didn't put that on there, but I do.
Wow, the games that came out were so far apart.
Right.
Wow.
And Crusader Kings 2 was big up, like still is big. It was big right up until the third one came out.
Right.
And the modding community is huge for this game. The other ones, Europa Universalis, which is a mouthful. Europa Universalis is their next one in the series. And that one is from 2013, still pretty big, but that one covers a kingdom. So you're controlling like England, for example, and you're colonizing or you're doing different trades. They're all just real-time strategy games that I've put so many hours into that it's stupid.
Why do you think you like them so much? Is it because of the history, or do you like certain types of battle games, or what do you think it is?
There's this one I've not played as much as the other ones, but there's a certain storytelling that comes with a game like Crusader Kings.
Mm-hmm.
If you create a monarch and they marry off someone and have children, you're living their whole life basically. You're creating history.
Yeah.
So you're making decisions about all the way down to like who is your physician in your court and are they good at what their job is, and if you get sick, do they heal you?
Wow.
All the way up to like I'm going to invade the Holy Roman Empire and then I'll become the Holy Roman Emperor. Like you can do all of that in the game.
That's
like anything
really
in between.
Cool. I might have to look into that. Yeah, I might have to look into that.
It's have you ever played a game like Civilization?
Yeah, I was thinking about Civ.
It's like Civ,
mm-hmm.
but it's way more complicated than Civ. And people think Civ is complicated.
Yeah. No, I've seen Civ and I've always found it interesting, but this seems even more interesting than Civ does.
Yeah, this is nitty gritty. The one I put the most hours into though is Hearts of Iron 4. And that one is from 1936 to 1952, I think, with the expansion maybe. But you can pick any country in the world you want to, and you're just um, you have different ways you could go about either defending. I mean, historically, what happens is with World War II, the Nazis invade different countries. They have allies with Japan and such. So, like generally speaking, you're able to pick a country and be a part of that.
Wow.
But more specific, you could play as you know the U.S. and not do anything. You could stay out of the war completely, and you could beef up South America and have a bunch of South American allies that you bring into the war with you. I mean, that's just fun. It's fun to me thinking about how things could have gone
Oh yeah, and there's
because it's
huge
all fairly realistic.
DLC. Look at that
Oh, there's a
DLC
ton.
list. Wow.
That's how they make their money.
Yeah, no joke. I was like, Disney Dreamlight Valley came out with a free update, and meanwhile, DLC timeline.
It's almost as bad as The Sims.
Yes, which we're about to talk about, but the DLCs are however, I mean, Elden Ring just got a DLC, and they're wondering if they're going to keep pushing out DLCs instead of making a whole new game.
Oh,
And it's an interesting thing. I mean, the even Disney has the DLC that came out, the Eternity Isle. But when you go into the realm room to get to Eternity Isle, there are 5 other peers that would then suggest that there will be 5 more DLCs.
Yeah.
And you're just like, I'm so broke. I love this game, but holy crap, I'm broke.
I mean, that's what Skyrim's doing too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Forever. Skyrim is like certifiably an old game at this point. But
yeah.
There you go.
Yep. All right, so let's talk about The Sims. Was this your first love?
One of them. Yeah. I love making stories. I love writing, but also The Sims kind of makes it easy. So I started with the first Sims game, played most of the console games growing up as a kid, and then Sims 2, Sims 3, not so much Sims 4. But yeah, I love making a family and then playing with them for generations.
Yeah. Yeah, Sims is a unique, and again, the DLC, holy moly.
Yeah, for each game,
I
right.
mean, what, like you got like pets? Wait, I want to see. Oh my god.
Well, they've categorized them. It's not just like a regular DLC. You have expansion packs, you have stuff packs, you have whatever else. Else.
I had The Sims on BlackBerry.
Really?
Yes, because they had it's a mobile game.
Wow. It seems really like it would be really hard to play on BlackBerry.
It's not the Sims that you think. It's a Sims mobile game. So
like Sims Free Play?
Yeah, like Sims Free Play. Yes. And I believe it was on BlackBerry. Hold on. Sims on BlackBerry. It's my mom's old BlackBerry that I used to play. And it told me about Sims bowling game they had for their iPod, but BlackBerry. And yeah. I remember Sims bowling. Yeah, the Sims BlackBerry games, live playthroughs. Definitely check it out. Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, I had Sims 3 and then I think I got Sims 4, I think. But I don't play them. I should have them. But they take up so much room.
They do. They're huge. And they take up a lot of time. Like for me at least, to get anything done in The Sims, you're like, okay, I'll like for me, I'll play until I do the next thing. I'm just going to play until I level, like I get them skilled up in cooking a little bit more. And then an hour will go by and you're like, whoa, I thought I was almost done with this.
Yep.
I get so locked in to The Sims and just, I have like blinders on. I spent summers in middle school and high school playing The Sims,
Yep.
Um,
In 2017, I did the free-to-play Sims. I started it. I
mhm.
was 26 in 2017, and it was like perfect time. I was in college. I needed something to play on my phone. I played it every single day for 3 years.
Wow.
Now, my addiction, which came out in 20, it's got to be 2020, I think, was Animal Crossing Pocket Edition, which is the one that's on your phone.
Hmm.
I've played it every single day since launch. I've never missed a day. That's
That's dedication.
It's such dedication because I love the game so much.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yes, Slurble. Yes, I'm not kidding. Every single day since launch. Wait, I have to see when it came out. Hold on.
Wow.
Animal Crossing.
I don't, the game I play the most on my phone is Pokemon Go, but I haven't played it every
Yes,
day.
I've played that every day since launch as well. Those are my.
Pokemon Go, really?
Yes!
Both?
Yes!
Wow. They're
Yeah.
both about the same age as well.
Yeah, this 2017 and then 2016 is Pokemon Go. And 2017 is when I was right, when Pocket Camp came out. Pikmin Bloom. I'm not a Pikmin fan. Don't hate me. That's not ever really been. Goodbye, Life Crossing. Welcome in, Super Shady. It will consume you. I agree. Pikmin Bloom. 2021 mobile game. Oh, it's like Pokemon Go. Okay.
I've never
I've never even heard of it.
played a Pigman game, but they look kind of fun.
Okay. Super JD, welcome on in. You're right. It consumes you. And The Sims was the same way. The mobile game. I got a horse because here's the thing.
You got a horse. Yeah.
This is the thing.
That's it.
When you play these mobile games and you're with it every single day since launch, it's like with me with Disney Dreamlight Valley. Nothing is new until it's new. I've done it all. There's nothing more I can do until new stuff has come out. So for me, when The Sims would go ahead and launch something new, I was already capped. So I'd be able to play that new stuff really, really quickly and have like a horse before anyone else could because they're still playing the long game. They're still playing all this stuff to get up to that. When I tell my friends about Disney Dreamlight Valley, I'm like, here's some items you're going to need in the future. Like, I don't need these right now.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got into a long tangent about that, but
You're good.
did you ever play like things like SimCity and all of that stuff too? City
Yeah.
builders?
Yeah. I didn't not a ton of it. I think I didn't really get into city builders until Paradox Games made City Skylines.
Right.
That was the first one that I thought was what I wanted in a city builder. I played SimCity 2014 or whenever it came out, which is kind of like City Skylines, but that one was kind of disappointing at launch, I think. And I played the old ones. SimCity 2000 was it or 3000? Were there separate games? Which one did I play?
3000 is from 1999.
3000 is the one that I played.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit. I didn't play it a lot. I didn't know what I was doing. I think I was too young at the time.
Yeah.
It's kind of a complicated game when you're young.
Yep.
But those games are harder for me to make a story, and that's kind of what I like in a game. If I can make a story out of it.
Can't zoom in any further, but apparently this is a mature city in SimCity 3000 featuring a population higher than 1 million. Look at the graphics on this.
Yeah.
Oh my god. so spoiled these days. We're all so spoiled. Um, so then what happened with the divide with Kingdom Hearts franchise for you?
Oh boy. Uh, well,
Because we're gonna do good and bad here.
the series is one of the most complicated things you can explain to someone. Like the plot is. Do you know about Kingdom Hearts or?
Yeah, I'm actually trying to find a way to play it. Again. Or not again. I've played like 10 minutes of it, but I know it. I've watched it. I've Twitch watched it, and I think it's totally my type of game.
Yeah.
But I had no way of getting my hands on it, and I know now it's on Steam.
It is. They released on Steam like very recently.
Yeah, so
And Epic Games as well, like a month or two ago.
So I'm gonna check those out again and go ahead and play.
Yeah. By the way, Super JD is a close friend of mine, so
Okay.
he's just going wild.
No, that's fine. I didn't know your name was Tristan, so I was like, Tristan is this huge sim. I thought it was like a friend.
Oh yeah,
or
that's me. Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
All right, I should have led with that. I'm Tristan.
Oh, nice to meet you.
And now we're in. Nice to meet you. Yeah. So I mean, I'm not gonna spoil anything.
No, I know the story. You're fine.
Okay. I'm surprised. It's complicated.
Mm-hmm.
It's I mean it's a game that came out when I was a kid, and I enjoyed it a lot, and I played all of them leading up. I had a lot of hype around this game growing up. Just it was mostly me. I had a couple of friends that were into this game, but it's mostly just me like looking stuff up, anything I could get about new Kingdom Hearts games. So yeah, the first two came out. Chain of Memories came out between them. Chain of Memories was a mobile game that was entirely different combat system. Still is the most unique combat system of any Kingdom Hearts game. You have a deck of cards that you're fighting with,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to make your deck to do different things. I could never get into that game.
And this one is called what?
Chain of Memories.
Chain of Memories. Okay, yeah, right here.
Yeah, there was also a PlayStation 2 port.
Yep.
That kind of made it with the Kingdom Hearts 1 engine.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really that important. There are a few key things that you have to know from that game, but you can kind of just read about it. That's my take on it. This game is unplayable.
Yeah, that's
It's
fair.
really difficult.
Okay. Is it the combat that's difficult, or is it the puzzles?
It's the combat.
What if I play it on easy? Is there different types? Easy, medium, hard?
Yeah.
Okay, so what if I
I
play
think
this
so.
on easy?
I think typically there's an easy and like an expert mode.
Okay.
It's either one.
Because
it's jarring. It's just a jarring combat. You play through the first one. You're like, I'm really good at this game. I beat it. I beat all the bosses, and then you get to Chain of Memories, and you're like, what? I have to fight with a deck of cards. Like, I have to because you not only you have to fight with them, you have to shuffle through a deck of cards while you're running around trying to avoid being attacked. And it's just like most of these battles are just like Kingdom Hearts 1 battles where you're just mashing one button to attack. Now you're shuffling through a deck of cards trying to figure out which attacks you want to use. And also you have to do math while you're doing it because the cards are different numbers and you have to use higher numbers to counter the Heartless you're fighting. You have to make sure you've got some heal cards in there to heal you.
Okay.
Every once in a while you have to stop because eventually you use up all your cards and you have no more cards during a battle.
So it sounds like then the Chain of Memories is not one I want to play.
You could try it. I mean, if you're probably going to end up buying, I guess
there's the 1.5 and the 2.5 remix. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
But I don't know why it's called 1.5.
That's because it's the final mix. So it's this first game, but they call it 1.5 because they're quirky, I guess. And the final mix was stuff that they wanted to put in the game originally, but just couldn't for whatever reason.
Got it. Okay.
So there's a few boss battles, there's a few retextures of some enemies, things like that.
Because it just looks, I'm looking at it at Steam right now. It just looks so good.
It
And
is.
I just want to play it so bad. The one problem I have, and I'm surprised Galvos hasn't chimed in about this, is I really like to mash A when it comes to story. I'm
There's a
not.
lot of cutscenes.
I know, and I'm that type of person that really has a lot of trouble with story. I'm I'm learning, like recently I played a game where there's story and I'm learning. Yeah, you don't really do story. I know, babe. It's a thing. Because there's that focus problem that I have. You know,
Yeah.
Dreamlight Valley, I could do whatever I want whenever I want to. I could skip around. But when you have a story mode, like especially okay, I don't know how you feel about Hogwarts Legacy or the Harry Potter stuff. I think you put it Harry Potter and social media RPs. Like, did you play Hogwarts Legacy or are you against it?
I like it. It's
Okay.
okay.
So I'm playing through that now, and this is like the first story game where I'm actually like sort of listening to the story because you can't skip anything.
Yeah.
So I'm really starting to understand the story a little better. But the my biggest problem though is there are people who like to do A to progress, like myself, because I can skim read. I can read faster than what they're talking.
Yeah.
But if Galvos gets my attention because again the ADD, right? So it gets my attention. They're still talking and I have it on real low. I'm not listening. I can't. I'm not reading. I've just missed a whole scene because I'm not progressing with A. It's auto progressing itself.
Yeah.
So that's where I also have a big gripe about games like that, where like I like to be able to press A because I'll get unfocused or whatever. I want to progress it at my level.
Kingdom Hearts has a bit of both because there are most of the scenes are ones that are just speech bubbles, and you could press a button and they go to the next one, and you could literally just button mash X through all of those and then be done with it.
Nice.
But there are a lot that are skippable, but they have text at the bottom like subtitles, and the characters generally talk slower,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
you might get frustrated with that. But
Yeah, like I said, I'm learning. This is a learning. So
and the final. I'm sorry. I didn't
No,
mean to interrupt.
I was just gonna say. So I'm probably trying to get ready for Kingdom Hearts. That's really my ultimate goal, I guess.
Yeah, the final mix version of the first one also added skippable scenes because the original didn't have skippable scenes. You had to watch everything.
Oh God. But
Yeah.
they've changed that now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and the second one at launch came with skippable scenes.
And then the 1.5, they've probably changed it so that way you can skip scenes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 1.5 just means final mix. That's
Okay.
the final mix version.
Got it.
But there are other games in that bundle too. Like Birth by Sleep is so I'm playing through all these right now with Becca, my fiance.
Mm-hmm.
And we're on the second game.
Okay.
We're pretty much playing them in order. We're on the second game. We mostly skipped Chain of Memories because she just couldn't get into the combat.
Yeah.
Birth by Sleep is another really good one as well. That's not like a numbered game, but they have all these games that are in between 2 and 3 that are kind of frustrating to a lot of people, like a lot of fans. And I think that's where
Birth by Sleep, Recoded.
Yeah. Recoded was a game that came out on a Nokia, I think.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
But I think
Yeah.
also because I've been playing Disney Dreamlight Valley, I'm more attuned to Disney characters because I've never been attuned to Disney characters. I've missed, after like 8 years old, I missed out on a lot of Disney because it never really held my interest. I learned who Moana was because of Disney Dreamlight Valley. I had no idea. And especially Maribel from Encanto. I had no idea what that was. So I think that this, now that I'm getting used to like Disney characters, I think I might also be able to see. All of this is just leading me up to the big point where I could play Kingdom Hearts. That's my my trials to get to this point, and it's because of you, Tristan, that I will be buying this game in the near future.
It is my favorite game. So series, favorite game series. I mean, it's got ups and downs. The third game was a little disappointing, but it's still good and still a good series to get into. I think you may need to like keep a plot guide close though, because you're probably going to be scratching your head on the fifth game, and you're like, why is Xehanort talking to Xemnas about something that Dimix did?
Oh,
And
okay.
you're going to be wondering what all those names mean and who they are and why you should care.
Right.
Or you might not. You may just skip all of it.
I might skip all of it, but we'll see. I'm being bred to do these things.
I mean, the meat of these games are all the Disney worlds. So really, what you're doing is going in, kind of playing a part of the movie,
Part
and just
of
kind of
that
playing the plot.
world.
Yeah, that's in the first game. Um, and so that's most of the game. So you'll like that. I mean, that you kind of already know how some of that works, probably
Right.
from watching Disney.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, this would probably be, I think, one of my first Square Enix games. I tried to do Nanu Kani, the
Oh,
witch hunter, or something. It's something like that.
yeah.
But it wasn't for me. But that was a Square Enix game that I was like, I'm gonna try this, and then I was like, no, I don't like it. Ninu Kuni. Thank you.
Final Fantasy 15 is another one of my favorite Square Enix games.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. that's
15.
that's up there next to Kingdom Hearts.
Okay, hold on. 15 is this one? No, that's 14.
Burbs likes 14, I think, a lot. That's an online game.
There we go.
This is 13.
Yep. I typed in the number 13 and it did the whole Roman numeral thing for me, so that helped.
Oh, I meant Final Fantasy 15. That's what I was saying.
Oh, sorry.
I haven't played this one, but I kind of want to. It's like the 6th or 7th one down. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. And everyone has their favorite Final Fantasy. If you're into the series, I mean, most people have, like, it's usually either the 10th one or the 7th one. This is not a popular one, I think.
Oh, yeah?
It's not. Yeah, well, the combats it was the first one where, and any Final Fantasy heads in chat, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was the first one in a major way that had open combat that wasn't locked into like turn-based. It was just you can run around and hit stuff. And also, the whole plot of the game is a road trip. So that character in the middle with the sword is a prince. The beginning of the game happens at the beginning. Your kingdom's attacked by this other evil kingdom. Your father gets killed. You have to go on this trip to basically marry a princess from another kingdom and create an alliance. And you're going there, like the whole trip is you're traveling there.
Oh.
With your bodyguard, your best friend, and your butler, I guess. And it's just a big road trip game. It's so fun. It's so fun and cool. I just loved sitting and because I mean you're driving a car around the whole map.
Right.
So I just like sitting, like watching them interact in the car, but also you can play as all of them.
Mixed reviews.
Yeah, I got mixed reviews.
It's in the 80s. Still,
Yeah, I've
that doesn't
through
mean
it
it's
twice.
not a good game. If my favorite Paper Mario, do you play Nintendo Mario games?
Not a lot of them.
Did you ever play the Paper Mario games?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Super Paper Mario on the Wii is my favorite game of all time. If I ever had a video
Yeah,
game,
they just re-released it, I think,
no,
right?
they released the Thousand Year Door, which I thought, oh, this is gonna be so much fun. I love Paper Mario. It's not because it's turn based, which is fine, but the turn based is quick action. And I'm not good at quick action. So it's like, make sure you hit A before he slams on his head. And so I go to hit A, but it's wrong. And now I've missed a turn and I'm dying. Like, hate it. So
Yeah.
the what's it called? The Super Paper Mario is not turn based. And so I can continue to button mash and use my sidekicks to kick some booty. And it got mixed reviews just like this one because it's not your typical Paper Mario, not the typical Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
So it's funny, those outlier games can really catch the attention of some people who are not typically in, and that's why they do it. That's why they do games like this, is to try to bring in a new player set. Um, but that's so cool. Google
Yeah,
Stadia.
it's it's not always gameplay that draws me. Most of the time it's just it's story, and this one's really good for it. But like Final Fantasy X, I hated the combat in that game. I just don't really like turn-based combat.
Yep.
But that one I loved the story so much in Final Fantasy X that I played through it. I just powered through the game.
I mean, you do what you got to do, especially if you love the story. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? For me, it's like I bought this 1,000 Year Door game. I have to play it. So I'm going to trudge through the story and just die a
Try
lot.
for a while.
Yeah. So Dimension 20.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
That's a game show. It's I mean they're playing D&D, but I think recently they've had to say that they're not because D&D's come down with being upset about that stuff. But it's like Critical Role or High Rollers or any of these other groups that do these shows, but it's run by, I think, a genius, Brandon Mulligan.
Okay.
And Dropout is the series that it's on, or the network that's on, which is funny because Dropout is what College Humor was.
Yes,
so College
okay.
Humor became Dropout,
Which is funny.
which is funny in the name.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, it's just a long form D&D role play game, but the games are I could never get into Critical Role because I would look at how many episodes they had, and I was like, I would shudder. I'm like, how would I ever get through all of this?
Right.
And Dimension 20, while they're still long, most episodes are 2 to 3 hours. I can kind of put it on while I'm driving as like it's a podcast, just listen to it, and I feel like I can get through it that way. And a lot of the people who are playing are College Humor people and Dropout people that I'm already on that network. I like them. They're funny. So
yeah. So I'm sure that the campaign then is pretty funny.
It's funny and it's really well written. Brindley Mulligan's talked a lot about writing stories in different interviews, and he's talked about like the most important thing you can write in a campaign is the ending, because people will remember that. You'll be driving towards that.
Right.
He always finds a way. I don't know how he does it. I've been DMing games for over 10 years, and I don't know how he's able to take everyone's characters and give them something unique that's also part of the story, and it all combines in one thing by the end of it.
Like with our rings combined, we can do anything kind of thing, where like you don't know as individual pieces what they are, but when they come together, it's like the key.
It could be. He's done stuff like that before. A good example is there's one called A Crown of Candy.
Okay.
That's a campaign that they did. It's probably further down, but that's one that it did that in 2020. It's like Game of Thrones but candy, and there's different food groups are on the map. So like they're all part of Candia, which is this kingdom, and they all play members of the royal house of Candia. And so the plot takes them through like a big celebration as the new emperor is being crowned of the whole land, and then there's a big betrayal, and that's the plot of the whole game. Basically, it's this huge betrayal. Um, Several characters die, like they're playing. Like you can see, Zach and Emily both played different characters because their characters died.
Right.
Um, I mean, it's just so well done that as someone who's been DMing for a long time, again, I'm like, how do you do it, man? You're like a wizard
You're a wizard, Harry.
because you're coordinating with like your players and what they want to do with their characters. Sometimes you have players that are just like, I don't know, man, I just want to kill stuff, and I'm over here trying to craft a story.
Right. Yeah, it really can. I just love the fact that D&D it really can turn into anything. Like my character was shy and meek, and then last episode, I was screaming on the top of my lungs, drunk. Like it really can be anything, and
Right.
it's just what makes the game. And that's cool that you've been DMing for so long. Do you, as a DMer, do you ever participate in the game as you're DMing, or do you just like tell
Like,
the
do I play a
story?
character?
Yeah, do you just tell the story or do you play a character or both?
On some one shots, I've played a character because it's usually the character that's traveling with them.
Okay.
Like, this wizard is also hired by this guy that hired you, and
Okay.
he's gonna go with you because he knows the area better or whatever.
Right.
Um, that kind of keeps one shots on track a bit better and lets me play, like the DM is now in the game as like a device to guide people.
Right.
But in a longer campaign that I'm running one right now that's more based in political intrigue, um, very little combat. It's mostly them figuring out what's happening during a rebellion.
Wow.
Um,
How long has the campaign been going?
Started in October.
Okay.
Hoping to finish it next month. We'll see.
Okay, yeah.
They're getting close.
That's good.
It's hard to. I mean, I wanted to finish it earlier. It's hard to. It's hard to keep it on the rails a lot of times.
Right. Yeah, that's great. Good for you. DMing is not easy, so I commend you.
Thank you. It's
Um
not.
okay. Tell me about Dragon Con.
DragonCon is one of the biggest, or it is the largest convention in the South. Or I guess maybe the Southeast U.S. I don't know if I could say that for the whole South, but it's just it's like Comic-Con. It's everything.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you're a fan of, it's there. I go every year. I've gone every year since 2011. It's so well, every year except one. I was in college. It was a rough time.
Right.
But
And COVID. I would imagine they didn't have it.
and COVID, they canceled it.
Right.
Yeah. It's just like my happy place. It's my favorite thing to do every year, hands down.
Is it expensive?
It's not. No, it doesn't have to be. I've done it lots of different ways. The tickets have been getting more expensive over the years, but a ticket for all 4 days, if you buy it like a year in advance, is $100.
Wow, that's it?
Yeah, that's it.
Wow. Meanwhile,
Right now, I think it's
TwitchCon is
170.
trying to charge me $270 for a 3-day pass.
That's stinky.
Yeah.
That's silly.
Yep.
I saw that price and I thought, I'm good. I'm going to DragonCon.
Yep.
And DragonCon has big people come. I mean, Patrick Stewart has been there.
Wow.
Like lots of Star Trek people on that note. Lots of like William Shatner comes every year for what it's worth.
That's awesome.
But I mean, there's a lot more than that. Like I'm blanking, but
no,
a lot of voice actors go.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see panels, but also I've really started to play a lot more tabletop games when I go there. My fiance plays a lot of tabletop games when she goes. That's like her main thing she wants to do. So like I'll leave her in the gaming area and go do something else.
Are there just like DMs waiting for you to sit down, or what is it?
Pretty much, it's on a schedule. You go to the gaming area. It's multi-level. There's 6 buildings. This takes place in 6
Wow.
buildings. So 5 of the major hotels in Atlanta, like downtown Atlanta. Um, but yeah, you go to the gaming area. You talk to the people running it. There's a website where you can pick what games you want. Each game is $5 to join.
Wow.
It's flat, so it's extra on top of your ticket, but you don't have to do it.
$5, yeah.
It's also $5, right, for like several hours
An
of fun.
experience, yeah.
And it's kind of a mixed bag of what you'll get. Anyone can really sign up to do it. The vetting process, I've looked into it because I've wanted to do it before. Um, it's pretty light, so um, you kind of get DMs who may be brand new and not great, but you might get one that's really really fun and really good. So
Right. And it's $5.
and it's $5, yeah.
Yeah.
And also like people don't show up, so you can just kind of go upstairs to where they have the games and tell them, hey, I'm just going to be on standby if anyone needs an extra, and you can do that. That's free. You just don't know what game you're going to play at that point.
Right.
They'll just slot you in wherever there's an opening.
That's cool. That's really cool. Wow, that makes me kind of want to go, but like, man, cons are its own thing. Like,
Yeah,
you gotta really want to go to a con in order to,
you do. It's exhausting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's exhausting the amount of people, especially if you're like a ambivert like me, where sometimes like I'm like, oh yeah, people I know, but then if there's like people I don't know and they're all surrounding me and they're starting to talk to me and I don't know what the topic is and now I'm trailing
Yeah.
off. Oh my god, the anxiety.
Last year we had this idea to have an opaque water bottle in which we put Boda Box wine into every day and like throughout the day and just sipped on that. So we were like a little tipsy all day. And
Yes.
that's the way to do it.
That sounds like the way to do it. That sounds exactly
Yeah.
like the way to do it. Wow.
We had Becca and I had gone to, she doesn't know the Venture Brothers, but I'm a big Venture Brothers fan.
Mm-hmm.
And
I know
there
the
was
Venture Brothers. Why do I know them?
yeah, it's a cartoon. It just ended. The movie came out last year.
Okay,
And so this was this movie is like a tie-off for the series. It's been off and on for the past over 20 years, I think, or about 20 years, yeah.
Adult Swim. Yes,
But there was like a big meetup to watch the movie and be in costume and everything, and it was like in the bottom like dregs of one of the hotels. Like they just put us into a corner.
That's awesome.
Small room, but so it was just a bunch of like people in costume at 11:30 at night watching this movie. We were all half of us were drunk,
Right.
and we were making jokes because most of us had seen the movie at this point. It'd been out for a month, and we're all super fans because we're there. We've seen the movie.
Right.
It was just like that was the essence. Every year, I have a few experiences at Dragon Con where I'm like, this is peak Dragon Con.
Yes.
And like that kind of thing is peak Dragon Con. Like if you want that, go to Dragon Con and hit me up, and I'll get you to something like that.
That's amazing. I absolutely will. I, in my heart of hearts, still really want to go to TwitchCon, but I just don't have a grand. If I
Right.
had $1,000, man, I'd stick it down. Last year, I didn't have to pay to go. I was a part of perform. What is it called? A seminar. What is it called?
A panel.
Panel. Thank you. I was on a panel.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know this guy. He definitely doesn't have warrants out for his arrest in 7 states. Thank you, on panel.
I know him too.
Yeah. I hope so.
All these people coming in and saying things like this, I'm like, they're joking. I promise.
Yeah. But yeah, I was on a panel, so I didn't have to pay to get in.
Yeah.
So that took $260 off my plate.
That's good.
But this year is not the same. I can't add another $250 plus the $250 flight plus the $200 a night hotel rooms.
And Dragon Con hotels are more expensive than that. They're $200 to $300, 300 plus. But I mean, the trick is to get an Airbnb,
right,
and to do it early. There's a place that we stay. We stay right across the street from the Hyatt Regency in Atlanta, downtown Atlanta, and the Hyatt's one of the hotels.
Oh wow.
But
Okay.
there's a condominium building right across, literally across the street, and we're paying total for one bedroom for 3 nights, like $700 something
Wow.
between the two of us.
Yeah, between two people. Yeah, yeah,
So we were like, that's pretty good for like having a bit of quiet and also being right there still.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
I've ridden MARTA into Atlanta. You know, I've parked at like a MARTA station and just ridden it up for the day. I've stayed at Airbnb like a Uber drive away. You know, there's different ways to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, pipe dream. We'll see. Um,
Yeah.
Interstellar. It's a film.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me about
It's
it.
just my favorite movie.
Yeah. Why?
It's a great, yeah. Campbell says a great film. It's I think the heart of the movie is hope of what it's a hope of trying to make things better in like the worst of a situation. And it's really well made. It's well acted. There's some really touching moments that are like unique to like there's a have you seen this movie? There's a scene where um the main character, Matthew McConaughey's character, is watching a video of like his daughter growing up basically because he went through a time he went on a planet where time moves quicker.
Right.
So he didn't really age at all, but she aged years.
Hmm.
And it's just like his daughter and his son, like he's watching his videos, and it's really good.
Matthew McConaughey, Anne Hathaway, Bill Irwin, Michael Caine, Matt Damon.
And Matt Damon's like a cameo that pops up halfway through the film.
I
Like
love
everyone
that.
in the theater was like, "Is that Matt Damon in my movie?"
So this came out in 2014.
Yeah, yeah. It's about a so the Earth is dying,
Okay.
and slowly, crops are dying. People are struggling to eat. It's happening all over the world, but it takes place in the Midwest. And it's about an old, like it's a NASA test pilot who um, is now a farmer, and he has 2 kids, and he's just trying to make it. All of his crops are dying. It kind of shows that at the beginning until eventually he gets this weird message that he determines are coordinates um, from like sand falling in a certain way in one of the rooms of his house.
Mm-hmm.
So he, being really intelligent, figures out that the coordinates, goes to them because it's not that far right away, and it's like a NASA facility out in the middle of the woods,
Wow.
where because in this world NASA sent up a team to go find viable planets to settle, and they didn't really find anything super viable, but they also didn't have a lot of ways to communicate with the people who went there.
Right.
So they're trying to get together another team to go and check on those planets to see which ones are actually habitable. Also, a wormhole opened near Saturn, which is how this is all possible.
Got it. Of course. I was wondering how that was,
Right.
a wormhole arriving in a distant planetary system. Yeah, yeah.
That's just there.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, they go. It's a team of astronauts go. I think it's 4 of them, and then 2 AI robots, Tars and Case. Which, if robots have never made you cry in a movie before, they will in this film.
Dude, what's the robot one with Robin Williams?
Bicentennial Man.
Oh man, that one I cried.
Oh
AI
yeah.
cried at that one too.
AI. Oh yeah, me too.
I've cried at my share of robots.
Yes. Bicentennial Man's one of my favorite films too. It's
Yeah,
a great one.
that's a great one. Due to severe time dilation, in which 1 hour spent on the planet equals 7 years on Earth, 23 years have passed upon their return to the Endurance. Wow.
Yeah. They check out 2 of these planets The first one does that. It kills one of their astronauts.
Well, don't
And
go too crazy. I want to
okay,
actually see the movie.
all right, all right,
Shit goes
and
down.
well, maybe we should get off the plot.
We know that the astronauts go up, shit goes down, and then
Shit goes down.
we try to see what happens from there.
Right.
Okay. But still, that I mean, the plot that you gave me initially was very good enough to get me hooked that I might want to see it. But Galvos knows that I'm a fan of movies. I'm not, so we'll see. But that sounds really cool because I love movies like that. Because there's one called, I think it's called Upside Down or something, where there's two planets that are perfectly.
Oh yeah.
And it has the guy from Across the Universe and Kirsten Dunst. What the heck is his name?
I think
He's
I
from
saw
21.
that.
I think it's called Upside Down. 21. Let's start with there. Has Jim Sturgis. So then Jim Sturgis.
Yeah, it's called Upside Down.
Oh, yay. Okay, cool. Go me. I never get those right. But yeah, I mean, movies like that, I love it. Where one Earth is dying. What are we going to do? We have to make this happen. So space is like fiction, like science fiction is the one caveat I usually make for movies. Because it actually keeps my interest.
Yeah, this is a great one to go into then.
Especially with Christopher Nolan, man, I appreciate his movies a ton.
Yeah. Also, what's his name? I can't think of it now. He's not on there. John Lithgow's in this movie too, and he's really good. He has a really touching scene. He's not, in that first paragraph.
Spell
he was in Third Rock from the Sun. John Lithgow. L-I.
Okay.
Yeah, there he is. You probably recognize him.
Yeah. Yep. 78 years old.
Yeah, that's wild.
He has the star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Interesting. Good for him.
He's a great actor.
He is. He really, really is. And Third Rock from the Sun is such an underrated show.
It is. Also, did you see The Crown? He was Winston Churchill in The Crown.
No.
He did a great job in that show too.
No, The Crown movie. No, TV series.
It's a TV series, yeah. Yeah, he's in the first and second season of The Crown. Yeah.
Oh, I love it when they show me pictures. No, they don't. He won multiple awards for his performance as Winston Churchill. Wow. That's awesome. Murder by Death. That's not what I was looking for.
The
Definitely
band.
All right, so tell me about them.
They're not as hardcore as they sound, is what I always lead with.
Indie rock, indie folk, and gothic country. That's pretty much like right up my alley.
Gothic country is the most accurate of those, I'd say.
Okay.
I've seen them a few times when they visited. I've taken pictures for them at a show and like sent them over, and like they featured some of my pictures on their Instagram and stuff. That was kind of cool.
That's awesome.
I'm a photographer also. I didn't put that on there, but
we'll
I
talk
do that
about
too.
that. We have some time. We're going to talk about that.
Yeah, they're just great. It's primarily Adam Turla and Sarah Ballet, I think. I've never said her last name out loud, but a married couple.
Ballier?
Yeah, Ballier. She plays electric cello and he sings and plays guitar. And then they have a backing band that's been with them for most. I mean, it's changed some, but their style is it's like gothic country. It's rock. Some albums are more rock. Some albums are softer. They're a really great band from Indiana, I think.
That's awesome. It was Slurbo who had the other person that played electric cello. Right, Sam?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Because I'm
Sam and
like, I
I.
got really excited about the electric cello, and I saw a picture of it, and I was like freaking out. But then I'm like, when was I freaking out about this electric cello? And I
It
have a
looks
feeling
wild.
it was from Sam's Wiki Wednesday. But yeah, that's crazy. It's basically just like a. Oh, she's playing. Okay, never mind. That's electric cello here. You can't see
That
it
I don't know if that one is electric cello.
because I'm thinking about the one that's literally like it has the long bass piece, and then that's it. Like there's nothing else.
Yeah, it can look very skinny.
Yes, this is the one.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. I
Yeah.
mean, technology is crazy. So
It's
yeah.
a very sleek, futuristic looking instrument.
So who would you say is like this is your favorite band? You would say?
Yeah, they I just think they have such a unique sound. Um, there are some albums. I'm blanking on it. It's There's some albums that really are really good.
We've got In Boca El Lupo, Red Tooth and Claw, Good Morning Magpie, Bitter Drink, Bitter Moon, Big Dark
Big
Love, The Other Shore, and Spellbound.
Big Dark Love. Yeah, that's my favorite one. Um,
Oh,
several really good
Kickstarter.
songs on that.
They raised it through Kickstarter. They raised all of them through Kickstarter. Spellbound was released in July 29, 2002. The first single, Never Be, was released May 13th. The second single, Everything Must Rest, was released on June 15th. A pre-sale of the album through Kickstarter raised $440,000, making it the seventh highest funded Kickstarted project in the music category at the time, surpassing
Wow,
The Other Shore at 11th. Huh.
wow! I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, we really love indie folk, indie rock, indie folk. That's where our loyalties lie. I mean, I listen to everything. I went to a series of concerts where I went to James Taylor to Say Anything to Yellow Card to Sarah McLachlan. Like I was all
Yeah,
over the place this summer. But it all comes down to indie rock for me.
they also have a few shows they do every year that's kind of specific to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like, oh yeah, no one else plays there. Cumberland Caverns in Tennessee.
Okay.
They play in like a big cave. They have a concert there every year.
That's cool.
And their biggest one is I think it's in Estes Park in Colorado. They perform at the uh, mansion, or no, the hotel. What is it? In The Shining. I can't think of what it's called.
I don't know.
They perform a concert every year at the hotel The Shining was filmed at.
Oh. I'm okay. The band releases tribute single for a friend musician, Matt Davis of the band Tangran, who had died earlier before continuing tour nationwide with the Weaker Thans. We love the Weaker Thans. And then My Chemical Romance frontman Gerard Way provides guest vocals on Who Will Survive track and The Devil in Mexico. Thursday frontman Geoff Rickley provides guest vocals for Who Will Survive Killbot. What? Wow. That's cool. See,
That's their first album. I didn't know that.
that is right there. That's in the feels. That's my emo calling. It wants to know this band now.
And they were very emo. Like their first album was emo rock.
Okay.
And then they pretty quickly went to this gothic country rock kind of thing.
Okay.
And now they're even something different. They're more indie rock now than ever, but they still have that sort of country stuff
That
going
twang, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah. So local restaurants. Tell me, I don't know if like local restaurants is on here. It's not. Tell me what
Yeah.
you
mean. Just stuff that is local to your town, like wherever you live. supporting local businesses, but specifically the food, because that's that's good stuff. And I get made fun of by my friends sometimes for talking about chains. Like I don't want to go
Yeah.
to eat at a chain. But luckily, where I live in Athens, there are a ton of local restaurants and not a lot of chains. Um, and it's, um, I mean, I don't know how many of these are searchable on Wikipedia. Probably not, but like the National is a great local restaurant for anyone interested. Um, my favorite is a Jamaican place um, called Kelly's Jamaican. It's just the idea of supporting something that is in your town and is a part of your economy.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
And
So I guess it expands to like this, other businesses too.
yeah, I was trying to find small businesses or like different restaurants, but it's not. A nickname is the Classic City. I like that.
That's right.
What does that even mean?
uh, I'll have to send you a video on it. It's really hard to explain, but I think UGA, which is the University of Georgia, in our town, um, they made a video on it that explains it a bit better. But the idea of the classic city is that it's still an old city. There's a lot of old buildings here, but the people who stay here live here their whole lives typically. If you stay past college, you're living here your whole life.
Right.
And I guess there's something about that being classic. Also, Patton Oswalt came recently for a stand up,
Oh,
and he
I
came
love
here.
him.
He came here like in 2010 or so as well, and he had a little bit about Athens, and he
Okay.
said, "It's." I'll send it to you later.
Okay.
Uh, he said something like, "If you're here past 26, you better stay. Like the real like this is like dream pop land. Like if you go to Atlanta or anywhere else in the world, you're screwed.
Yep.
You're dying. You're dead. So stay here in your safe little home in Athens, and you'll be fine."
Little
And that's a
fish in a
perfect way of explaining it.
little fish in a little pond compared to little fish in a big pond.
Yeah, Athens is a large city comparatively to the rural landscape around it.
Right.
A lot of people come to Athens for different things, but also there's a lot of young people here because of the college. It's the biggest university in Georgia.
Mhm.
So there's a ton of young people, and there's a ton of young people specifically doing hipster shit. So
Yes.
so yeah, so you've got like downtown Athens, half of it is hipster young people and older folks, and
Mhm.
you know, and then the other half is like college students who are taking over bars and stuff.
That's
And
amazing.
it's called the khaki line. There's a road that people refer to as the khaki line, and on the east side of that is college students, and on the west side is adults. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
No.
there's like a few bars you just don't go to because you're gonna have a bad time on a weekend.
Oh wow, REM and the B-52s came
Those
from
are our two big
Athens,
ones.
Georgia. Yeah. Indigo Girls. Let me see if I know anybody
Widespread
else.
Panic.
I don't
Um,
think I know anybody else.
Drive by Truckers. Neutral Milk Hotel. Well, yeah, that's REM. Of Montreal.
Of
Kishibashi.
Montreal. That's great.
Yeah.
I love
Of
Of
Athens, more like.
Montreal. Yeah.
Danger Mouse.
I only know some of these, but Of Montreal, Galvos loves Of Montreal. Um, well, cool. Yeah. I'm all about supporting local too. Grew up next to a pizzeria, so and it wasn't like a chain pizzeria; it was like a pizzeria, and so we
Yeah.
always got from the pizzerias around the area or whatever. We tried to stay away from chains, but even now, Like it's hard when you're trying to do like Uber Eats and all the chains are like, "Hey, free delivery." And all the non-chains are like, "Hey, $6." And you're
Yeah.
just like, "Oh, man. This is
Yeah.
difficult." I really
Well,
want to go to that one place, but I don't want to
right.
pay an additional $6 to do so. It's tough.
Luckily, everything in Athens is so close that you
Okay,
can pretty much just drive.
pick it up.
Like I live within. I am. If you look at Athens, there's a perimeter that goes around it. I'm within that. There's like a expressway that goes around the city, and within that, and even on the outside of that, you're within 15 minutes from anything, or less. Like definitely less.
I love that.
So I can just go drive down the street. Like I live on the same road that my favorite restaurant's on, so I'll just go there and pick something up.
That's crazy.
But it's a really cool town. It's a college town, so it has everything a college town might have. Cheaper rent, a lot of young people, but this place is also known for its arts and music, and it's also like one of the very few blue pockets, like politically, in Georgia as well.
I think I
Um,
knew that actually.
yeah, and also our mayor got famous during COVID because he was doing basically like a fireside chat every week and talking to like everyone about what's going on and how things are like when everyone was in lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
I think he got on national news for something he did. I can't remember. His name's Kelly Gertz. If you search Kelly Gertz with a Z, Girtz, there he is. That's him. He's a really cool guy. He was at the Patton Oswalt show recently, and he
Oh,
gave him the
that's
key to the
great.
city.
Let's see.
Um, he was on CNN or one of those for something. I don't remember exactly what he did, but
Master of Arts in Teaching from Piedmont.
oh, he opposed. Yeah, our governor is Brian Kemp. He opposed, like the reopening of Georgia because he was like it's way too early.
Oh yeah.
Just
Mm-hmm.
like a month into the pandemic, Kelly Ripa was like, no, that's gonna get more people killed.
Yeah.
Um,
That's crazy.
he's a really good mayor.
Yeah.
I didn't think I'd be talking about my mayor on here, but he's great.
Yeah. We got a cool guy. I don't know who our mayor is. It's some guy.
But that's one of the things you might say that's classic. And if one of my friends was watching me, they'd be cringing hard right now. But that's kind of what makes Athens classic. Is like we know who the mayor is. Yeah, that's so classic. You know who the mayor is. You know,
Right. Oh, I love
like you
that.
probably just see him around the grocery store. Like it's a big town with a small town feel.
That's really cool. That's really
Yeah.
nice. Let's talk about Roblox. I know nothing about Roblox for what it's worth.
Well, Roblox is a game started a while back. Yeah, 2004. I see. Um, the way Roblox works is you make an account, you download the client, and it opens up on your computer, and you have a choice of which world you want to enter. But those are like different games. And initially, Roblox, like early on, the worlds were very simple. Um, and you didn't have a lot of companies doing brand deals or anything like that. It was just like people making stuff to go into. Like I don't know if you know anything about VR chat or
Yeah.
like just these kinds of games where you just go in and hang out.
Mhm.
But I don't know when exactly it happened, but at some point in the 2010s, Roblox blew up, and it is a big place for creators, and you can make some really cool stuff with the engine that they use, um, and have games that are basically copycats of other games. Um, but also, it's a way for companies like KitKat, for example. KitKat can pay a game company to make a KitKat game, and kids will play it because it's fun and looks fun, and and Roblox is generally pretty safe for kids to get on.
Right.
It's a children's platform. But with that being said, you've got companies that are predatory in this way where, they're going to make a Kit Kat game and show all the Kit Kat stuff. And you see if you can collect 100 Kit Kats in our level and talk to Mr. Kit Kat. He'll give you a little Kit Kat quest
Oh my God.
and stuff like that. And there are some good ones too. Like my friend, he was in chat earlier, Super JG. He worked on a Blippi game um, with Roblox, and that's educational
Yeah.
and like good content. But there's a lot of stuff about Roblox that's also very shady, and um, there's like I don't even want to get into it, but there are ways to like embezzle money through Roblox.
Mm.
Um, it's just like this platform that is somewhat unchecked, and a lot of kids are on it.
Yeah. That's how I feel about Fortnite.
Yeah,
I don't know if you're a Fortnite fan, and if you are, I'm sorry that
I'm
I
a
said.
Fortnite player.
Okay, but that's how I feel about Fortnite, and why
Yeah.
I don't approve it is because what it's supposed to. It was initially like a like shooter game. It was supposed to be like real basic, and then
Yeah.
now they've got like Lady Gaga in there, and they've got they just added another new skin, and like all these skins that the they're not pay to win because you aren't getting items that make you better. They're just skins. But now microtransactions are happening in front of kids who are going to want to buy more shit from them, and
Exactly.
that's how I feel about Fortnite. I don't care about Fortnite players. I don't care whatever you're going to do, whatever you're going to do. If the game's fun, that's fine. But for the kids, it just bothers me a lot that they're even kids playing like Halo. Like that just irks me so much when they're out of their league and cursing on the internet.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Fortnite has become like Roblox in some ways recently in that they released their game engine to the public.
Lego Fortnite, I played that for a little while. It was okay.
Well, yeah, and that Fortnite has 4 basic game modes that they have. That 3 of them are brand new. They came out like this year, and those are fine. Like as far as content goes, what I mean is there are a lot of custom worlds that have been about for the past year or year and a half since they released their game engine. So now developers, anyone can go in and make a game world, a custom game world in Fortnite, and make whatever they want. And now those are regulated to some degree.
Right.
You can't just put anything in one of these games. But I mean, it's another way for people to take advantage of kids.
Yep.
And so that's the beef I have with Fortnite and Roblox. But I will say, as an adult playing Fortnite, so it's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
yeah.
I had a challenge on here that if I reached a certain dollar amount, I was trying to get a new computer, that I'd have to play. I think it was 3 rounds of Fortnite. Never played before, and I won all 3 rounds. And I said, I've peaked. I'm never playing again.
Yes, it's like gambling.
Right.
You won some money, put it down.
It's done. I had a good teammate, but she let me do most of the running and stuff. And you also have to remember, like, this is level 1 bots and whatever.
Right.
But I still felt good about myself because I've never played before. And
I mean,
she's
that's
like,
great.
She's like, use the scope. It's a sniper rifle, and I'm just shooting people. Like, I don't give a damn. Like, she's like, you have a scope. I was like, oh, I don't know. I just want, they're far away, and I know I have a sniper rifle. I just assumed it's going to hit them.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so let's end on something not tragic about kids.
Okay, good.
Tell me about the Star Wars Expanded Universe.
Well, in 2012 or so, Disney bought Star Wars, and before Disney bought Star Wars, there was a ton of stuff created about Star Wars that wasn't just the movies, games, books, you name it. Books were a big part of it, and comics too, novels and comics. So the books added a ton of info about Star Wars that if you weren't reading them, was only accessible on like Wikipedia to learn all about what was happening.
Right.
And this was all considered canon, which if you're a Star Wars fan, canon is like that's like a loaded word nowadays, but canon is like God in Star Wars.
Right.
Like that's like the most important thing when considering what's real and what isn't. And there was just a ton of really cool, fun stuff that I was a big fan of that went away after Disney bought it. And so I think a lot of Star Wars fans were hurt
Mm.
after that happened. But otherwise, it's been good since then. It's in a lot of ways. Um, but it's kind of like the fan base is still torn a lot on. I mean, the fan base is toxic. I don't really want to talk about the Star Wars fan base, but it came up.
Yeah.
um, I just think there are a lot of good stories out there that went away when Disney bought it, and it was a little upsetting, but it's a show. It's a movie series. It's not real, but at the same time, it is.
Right.
Um,
It's a space opera.
it's a space opera, folks. That's what we're talking about.
Comes down to it, it's a space opera.
Like, there was a whole thing in the expanded universe took place around the same time as the sequel movies. It's like 30 years after the original films, where a a different like alien force from a different galaxy invades, and everyone has to band together to fight them. And it's this really wild series of events. I forget what's called, but I think it was. Um, I have to look at it now.
Okay.
The Yuuzhan Vong War. But it was this alien species called the Yuuzhan Vong, and like the Imperial remnants of in Star Wars, the New Republic, everyone tried to band together to fight these people, and they eventually won. Um, but yeah, it was just there was like I think one of the most well-known events from that was um, like Chewbacca had a moon thrown at him, and that's how he died. Like just this wild, epic stuff.
Interesting. Huh.
So a lot of fans were hoping that something like this would come about, you know, again. But
Yeah.
some of the stuff in books and it's just so out there. It's like, how is this going to be on? How is this going to be in a movie? How are we going to be able to make this? And maybe that's what Disney was thinking.
Oh. Well,
I do think they have some great people at the helm right now, though, making really good content. Like the Acolyte is really good. I've liked it.
Yeah, and I think that even though it's in new hands, it could potentially be a really great thing. It could be detrimental, but it could also be a really great thing when it comes to uh, people who might want to see the expanded universe and they work for Disney and they're able to then sneak it in.
Yeah.
You know, could always have that one. But we are at 2 hours, so we are gonna wrap it up. I had fun.
Me too.
You are a very fun person. I was laughing a lot, so
Thank you.
I appreciate that. Not that I usually have like boring ones, but like you really made me laugh a lot, and I really appreciate that. So
it's the improviser in me.
that's what it is. That's what it is. I'm trying to think of who to throw it over to. Let's see. We're probably gonna go over to. Oh God, no. I think she's ending. We're gonna go over to your old dad. We always go over to your old dad, but we are going to because your old dad does game shows. He replays game shows, and you get to play along with him and actually win channel points and such with your bets and things like that. So really fantastic guy. He's been on Wiki Wednesday. Unfortunately, the whole VOD is muted. But he's been on Wiki Wednesday. I have proof. And
Wow.
Tristan, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, did you have a good time?
I had a great time.
Good.
I was really looking forward to this all week, and
Aw, yay.
I'm glad I did it.
Awesome.
Thank you for having me.
Well, next week is going to be Josh Turek. I'm really excited about him. He's a traveling musician from Canada. So thank you guys. This is the really crappy raid call that one day I'll fix, but maybe not recently. And thanks again. We're